Girls, children of all ages, the Fan Forum proudly presents to you a live Tuesday night stream. We're here. We're going to talk about the Pistons. They're winning without Cade Cunningham. The Tigers have a very mixed opening day kind of feeling right now, whether you're the Kevin McGonigal prodigal son story or you're crying your eyes over Justin Verlander's poor first start. We're going to talk a lot about this. I'm Mark, and we're going to bring Hermdo in. Like and subscribe. This is the Fan Forum. Let's bring Uncle Hermdo in. Good old Uncle Hermdo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are we on this mixed temperature evening?
Yeah, I'm sweating my balls off right now. It's pretty nasty. I was sweating all day at work. I had to take a quick shower when I got home. I am a stinky boy, but I was a stinky boy. Now I'm a fresh, clean boy.
We love a clean
Hermdo. We got some happenings. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got we got a ton of different ways we can go today. Lots of stuff's been happening. We got Tigers losing one, almost coming back in a really valiant effort last night against Arizona Diamondbacks. They were, Justin Verlander got tagged. He only lasted about 3 1/3 innings, let up 5 runs. They let up, 8 runs really, by inning number 5, and then they staged a furious comeback, scored 6 runs in a single inning, but just couldn't get it done. I got some stats pulled up here, but it was Verlander's 381st start for Detroit, his first since being traded 9 years ago. But the 7th inning rally, let's talk about that for a minute. But let's talk about Colt Keith. He continued his hot start with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. Tigers batted around in the 7th RBIs coming from Kevin McGonigal, Dylan Dingler, Riley Green, and Spencer Torkelson. Those are the guys you want to be hitting the RBIs. Javi Baez chipped in with an RBI during the rally, showing some spark. So, yeah, it was a valiant effort, but Michael Soroka just had their number all night. Not Michael Soroka. Yes, Michael Soroka. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong guy here. But 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts. Fanning, Javier Baez, Kerry Carpenter, and Gleyber Torres in order. Kind of a disappointing night. I wanted to watch the game, but it was on past my bedtime. I was a sleepy boy by the time the first inning started, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. Verlander did not look very good out there. I was kind of a little disappointed, but I'm not super surprised, I should say. I mean, the guy's in his early 40s, but I thought,
you said it right there. I did the mistake of doing something I normally never do, as I listen to morning talk radio, right? And
yes,
you would have thought that it was 2006 and we're mourning the loss of Justin Verlander, right? You got to remember this guy is on the tail end of his career. He was not brought in here to rebirth this team. One of their callers called it and said, this is just basically Miggy's farewell tour 2.0. And we have to understand that. He's the back end of the rotation. Once the season gets rolling, he's going to be a nice veteran presence. He has the experience in the postseason. The team needs to be focused on, and you said it, Kevin McGonigal, right? Colt Keith, Dylan Dingler, Casey Mize. We need to be eyes locked on him.
Yeah.
And then obviously Tarek Skubal is the easy one. But
absolutely.
This Tigers team is not changed in any way. We just got a more solid starting rotation. We're still missing a big bat, Hermdo. And I think most people are too hung up on the starting rotation and forgetting what you saw in Arizona last night, and I fell asleep too. That reminded me of the playoffs, where it's like we're scoring runs where it's too late, right? One leak in our arsenal and pitching exposes a whole array of runs. And then if we're not forced into some like perfect magical game, it's hard to come from behind. So I'm not shocked. I just think people need to calm down on the Tigers.
Yeah, it's a disappointing loss for sure. 2 losses in a row after, kind of a brilliant start against San Diego Padres, but still a very young season. I'm not panicking or anything like that, but some of the issues that were plaguing the Tigers last season could be present. Early on in this season, they got to get this stuff locked up. We're really gambling that these young guys can really push us forward. And so far, we've seen some great performances last couple seasons from the younger guys. But we're putting a lot because we didn't lock up a big bat, which is disappointing. But that's just not the Tigers' MO right now. It's all farm hands right now. So
and that's where I'm going to say, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be the most critical of two teams, and thank you. The Dew's joined us. He says peekaboo in a creepy way.
How you doing?
I'm going to be we'll call it Dew-like, and be very pessimistic and judgmental of the Tigers and the Red Wings moving forward. So I think I'm just going to take this stance, right? Because I was accused of being a Kool-Aid drinking homer, and that may be for the Lions, right? And I used to be that way for the Tigers, but I still have to look at Scott Harris and say, are you sure you're not Eric Bischoff? Are you sure you're not out here screwing with my roster and my team? But we're a couple games into the season. We haven't even had opening day at home yet. So I'm going to relax. I'm going to channel my Uncle Hermdo and say, calm down.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but hopefully we have the ability to bounce back from this. We've experienced some bad Tigers losses in recent memory, but it's just one of those things that happens to even the good teams. I still believe in this team. I still think they're gonna have a really special season. I still think the division's within reach. I thought that last year too, but we'll just see how this all plays out. I'm not reading too much into a single game. They got a chance to bounce back tonight. I think is Casey Mize on the mound tonight, and so that should be good. Casey had some really solid work for us last season, but so we see, but in the rotation, just like the one thing that does concern me is just beyond Tarek Skubal, because obviously the guy, we don't have to worry about him at all. He's the ace of aces. And then you got Framber Valdez, really solid second option. But then after the first two, we saw Flaherty looking very oily, very sweaty, during the final game of the Padres series. It is too early to say anything about the Tigers, but you're seeing some of this stuff. I'm just being a little bit paranoid, but for the most part, I'm not concerned.
I think you're being pretty level-headed about this, and I'm going to have to disagree. It's not too early to say anything because they're showing me they're the same Tigers we saw last year, right? They're the same team we saw last year with a better rotation. And what will be said about, okay, you want to win the division in the American League Central, Hermdo, what did those other three teams do to get better? They didn't. The Kansas City Royals are not the Kansas City Royals that we used to know, and they're going to take forever to rebound. I don't care how old Salvador Perez is, right? I don't give a shit. That's going to take a long time to build that magic back. The Cleveland Indians, they are, for some reason, they cannot get out of their own way, right?
No.
And they're always going to be that kind of spurty little, like MSU is the little brother in the division. And the Minnesota Twins just continue to get worse. So the division already is the Tigers to win just based on what the other three teams didn't do. We don't have to worry about the Dodgers. We don't have to worry about some of these powerhouses. If anything, the Tigers are kind of drawing a parallel to the Pistons right now, right? Because the Pistons are king of the East, locking up the number one spot in the playoffs, proven winners without Cade Cunningham. And it's like, I'm really curious to see what this playoff is going to be like. I default back to last night's game against the Thunder. They lost by 3 points? And SGA had to put up 47.
Just about,
He had to put up 47 points against our bench that started. So to me, when I think about the team that owns the city right now, the team that has everything running behind them, it's the Pistons. It hands down, it's the Pistons.
Oh yeah, I got no problem with that. Just like one more word on winning the Central should be a given. The pitching staff is better, still not on par with the big boys. Offense is my concern. That's totally fair. We're relying on a lot of guys that, obviously Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson both hit, over 30 home runs last year. But, you don't have a guy, you don't have the Juan Sotos, you don't have the Aaron Judges. Not that I'm saying the Tigers need a guy like that to succeed, but,
I know you're talking about average
they do need, yeah, average in production. I don't think, like we argued about this before, but I don't know if batting average is really end all be all of hitter stats these days. But still, you want a guy to hit, as close as you can to like 300. I mean, if ideally, but you do what you got to do. Riley Green had a good season. He hit about 258. Spencer Torkelson hit about 240. And some of those guys did come up with some pretty bad strikeouts. Riley Green and Torkelson both for parts of last year looked totally lost out there. I mean, they just looked like they hadn't locked in really. And there's parts of the season where Colt Keith or Kerry Carpenter had to kind of carry us for a little bit. But, it's just like, which is kind of makes you nervous a little bit. But, the offense, that is a concern. But, after seeing what they did in the 7th inning, I think they can still rally runs. I think they can still, so some of these guys, they're just not going to be, some of these pitchers, especially the right-handers, I just think it's going to be a real struggle. They're just going to have to survive about 6-7 innings, not being able to get anybody across the plate, and just kind of hope they can get to the bullpen, hope they can wear these guys out late in the game, hope they can survive long enough and, just keep it close. They got to hope like Tarek Skubal can, make it a zip game. Carpenter set a new Tigers records, most strikeouts for the first 4 games of the season. Oh, Christ. Oh, boy.
That's what I'm talking about, Hermville. That's the Tigers of last year.
Yeah.
It's all in or all out. Kerry Carpenter, he's looking to be like a hot or cold home run power hitter, right? So in a league, like you said, where nobody gives a shit about average, unless it's me, I'm the only one that cares about batting average within the game of baseball. I'd be curious to hear what Mike Valeni has to say about that. What his opinion is on the average. And like you said, we'll have him on later. But
yes, of course.
It gets to a point where this is what you have to expect. Kerry Carpenter is only going to give you the option of what do they call that? The carpet bombs or some bullshit like goofy name like that.
Yeah,
like, he's a
Kerry Bonds.
Yeah, he's a sideshow attraction to get hot for home runs, right? He's not a solid average hitter.
No, he's not. And the Tigers probably didn't need him to be, but honestly, towards like the end of last, a lot of these guys just disappeared. There's some definitely black holes lineup. We've had stretches. Look at Zach McKinstry had some hot stretches. Javier Baez had some hot stretches, but the guys being late in the lineup. Some solid guys in the middle, but when it comes to like the end of the lineup, it's just like you really want to trust like Jake Rogers or Zach McKinstry or like Jahmai Jones was pinch hitting too, but now he had a decent average over 72 games, but still, he's he's a utility guy. He's just he's a bench warmer basically. But
whole team of utility guys. Want to give a quick shout out.
Yeah.
He's back in the chat. He came out last Sunday for the episode. Want to say hi. Thank you for your comments.
How you doing, Vincent? Good to see you, buddy.
We're talking Tigers tonight. We're talking Pistons tonight. We're talking Red Wings tonight. Our Brad Holmes free streak shall continue. I don't really think they've done much to warrant our attention. I know they signed some unknown safety out of Baltimore. Chucky, I don't know.
Yeah, there's some Caden Proctor talk on ESPN. Talk about he could be a good fit for the Lions at 17. We talked about that a bit. I do like it. Big guy from Alabama. I think he'll slot right in. That would be. I think he would be. He's definitely in need. I think it could be a very, very interesting draft. We'll see what Brad Holmes pulls out. But we reserve the right. I'll turn on Brad Holmes in a second, man. I'll be like the Dew. It'll be me and the Dew versus you, Mark. You'll be the only person still talking about how great Brad Holmes is. Me and the Dew are going to link up, But
you're gonna hate it when the draft comes by because whoever gets Caden Proctor, you're gonna fall in love with, and the NFL's already fallen in love with him. He's Pen A, right, 2.0. So. But let's screw that. We'll talk about that later. Vincent says, Verlander did not look good, and
he looked every bit of his 42 years. I'll just say that.
That's probably the most
I'll just say
way
that.
to say that. And this is a reunion tour. He knew what he was getting when he came here. He was coming back here for a reason, and just let him play that Kenny Rogers role. He's not the ace. He's not that every time he goes out there it's going to be a no-hitter. But you're going to fall in love with this guy more later on in the season, right?
Yeah, I mean, March Dead Wings are back. It's looking like it. It's looking like we'll talk about the Red Wings in a minute. Let's do it, Hermdo. Hell yeah, do. Let's do it. But yeah, I mean the Tigers. There's concerns early on in the season. Hopefully they can correct them. The dude didn't get banned yet. No, not yet. Soon though. Soon,
close.
Very soon.
Very close.
Yeah, let's not get too derailed here. Come on, Mark. But
yeah, this is a very orchestrated, organized show with a script. Let's stick to the script.
Yes, it is very organized. But yeah, just I'm not super worried about the Tigers right now. We're 4 games into the season.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can tie it up tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks and maybe take the series as well. And then you moving on to St. Louis, the home opener. People are going to be excited. Comerica Park's going to be a zoo the whole day. God. My brother used to live downtown. I'd go visit him during Tigers games. Yeah, so many people. It's insane down there.
Yeah, and it's like the worst representation of baseball fans because obviously opening day is basically taking all 4 preseason games of the Lions, right? All the fans and just getting them drunk and not letting them in the game. And that's what opening day is. And no offense to the folks that go down there or total all offense. I don't know however you want to take it, but yeah. I find they're the least baseball fans attend opening day. They're just there to get completely shit waxed and celebrate the fact that it's not cold out anymore, which, hey, Hermdo, we live in this state. We understand how important that is. I actually was walking around at work today outside with my boss in the middle of a rainstorm going, it's not snowing. I'm okay. I'm actually happy right now. So I get it. I totally get it. I totally understand. So I know there's going to be a lot of people in Detroit. It's probably going to be one of the closer opening days similar to the 2000 eras where you couldn't get down there, right? It's like the equivalent of a Lions game right now. Try going downtown when the Lions are playing. Get over it. You're not even going to get anywhere close.
You'll be stuck in traffic for 4 hours. It's
exactly.
It's going to be crazy, but it's just
you talk about the MLB. I mean, the Red Sox are 1-3.
Yeah.
Do you think that's how it's going to last for them? Of course not, right? Like
no.
The Dodgers
Red Sox are still dangerous.
Perfect, but
they're still dodging.
Oh God, they disgust me. But
I know, me too.
It's such a long season. It's such a long season, right?
Yeah, we'll be in for a lot of ups and downs. It might be one of those seasons. There's a lot of things in the Tigers. We'll ban you for. You damn well know.
Yeah,
you damn well know. But but what were we talking about? Oh yeah, it just. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we're gonna get some bandwagon. I mean, we're in the shit, if you got any kind of sport, you're gonna be hearing a lot of crap about how the season's screwed. But there are some, early concerns, but hopefully they can right the ship. I still trust AJ Hinch for the most part, and Scott Harris, maybe picking up a bat would have been good, but it just maybe we'll see what they do at the trade deadline. Who knows if they're still in it? We'll see what happens. But there's a lot riding on this team right now. $250 million payroll. They got World Series aspirations now. They're spending like the big boys. So, it's just like that championship window is creaking open. It's creaking open, and hopefully they don't get off to a bad start, But I remember like the 2018 when we got Miguel Cabrera and Dontrell Willis, and we started out 0-7, and we won like 75 games that year. That was the year we were like projected to go to the World Series. I don't think it's going to be like that, but that's just like that's the one year that kind of sticks out to me, having a non-biased opinion. Oh, how dare you? How dare you?
This is my favorite one.
Non-biased.
Whatever Valenti says. That's you took the words out of my mouth.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. We gotta talk about Mike Valenti one of these days. Our Italian friend of the show, Mike Valenti, mainstay on 97 won the ticket.
Yeah.
But
which we are now a sponsor of.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. But we talked about the Pistons briefly. Let's go into some of the performances from last night. Unfortunately, a loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is not too surprising. Hold on. Excuse me. But
excuse you.
We got some great performances here. Paul Reed stepped into the starting center spot.
Yes.
Finishing with a double-double of 21 points and 10 rebounds. Javonte Green provided a huge spark with 19 points, proving his value as a high-energy wing. Kevin Huerter, your close personal friend, Kevin Huerter, slotted into the starting lineup and chipped in 17 points, including some timely buckets to keep the games close. And Dennis Jenkins, we love the guy. Continued his steady play in Cade's absence, scoring 15 points and dishing out 6 assists, including a clutch three-pointer late in the fourth that briefly gave Detroit a 7-point lead.
All he does, man.
The Pistons trail. Yeah, it's good. It's good. We got deep team. But the Pistons trailed for much of the first half, but surged in the third and fourth quarters. Late run led by Jenkins and Huerter put the Pistons up 97-90. Under 4 minutes left in regulation. Reigning MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was simply too much to handle. He erupted for 47 points, as we discussed, including a flurry of points at the end of the fourth to force overtime. Experience won out in the extra period. SGA continued with dominance over the Thunder's defense, clamped down to secure their 60th win of the season. The Pistons still remain the top of the Eastern Conference. The fact that they took the best team west to overtime without their core starter is a massive statement about their depth heading into the playoffs. So, feeling good, even though it's a loss. I still think there's a lot to learn from this. I think it just speaks to the depth and the good coaching and just the way they gel together as a team.
Yes.
Yes.
That game was a win in my book. I know it didn't show it on the score, right? Obviously, it was an L. But you have the reigning MVP SGA putting 47 up against our bench that gave them a fucking, hailstorm, right? Like Kevin Huerter steps into a role that nobody expected this to work out. Everybody was waiting for this move to be like Kevin Huerter, right? But the soulless ginger comes in and puts up a hell of a game, right? There's no Duran, there's no Harris, there's no Azar. It's done by design, right? To see what this team's worth. And they go up against the reigning champs and cause havoc, and they show their worth, right? Dennis Jenkins has been nothing but a savior to this team and done everything we've asked him to do. The clutch three-point shooting, the assist. He's played the Cade Cunningham role almost better than Cade, right? He's not as dangerous in the paint as Cade is because he's not as big and strong, but the clutch shooting is better, and the assists are pretty much there. So I'm just so excited, like you said, when Reed and Green are putting up doubles. We're deep, dude. And I was a little afraid in the middle of the season to get exposed in the playoffs with or without Cade and just say, okay, well, can we get past, right? I've seen what LeVert can and can't do. I've seen some pretty shitty games from Careless LeVert. I've seen some cold games from Marcus Sasser. But can these guys step up, right? Because, great, Dennis Jenkins is doing his job, but we also need other people. We need someone to pull the Dennis Jenkins role. LeVert, you're going to stand in for Jenkins now that Cade's out. So anyways, I'm just really optimistic. I'm really excited. They're a year ahead of their rebuild. They're a year ahead of everything. Best coach in the league. I still think Cade's the MVP, right? Even though other people, I'm sure the dude's going to chime right in right now and say it should be Wemby. But Wemby is almost 2 people. So put that into consideration.
Yeah. He's like 2 guys sat on top of each other. But
like the 2 guys in I'm really loving that would try to sneak into the bar. That's him, right? Like
absolutely. But I think the Pistons are poised for a very deep playoff run. I'm really loving what I'm seeing from this team. We get Cade back in the mix. If we can get, get Caris LeVert a little more activated, a little more, in step with the rest of the team, that would be good. But we got the depth, we got the ferocity. This team is intense. This team is a nightmare to play against, and they're just showing their strengths. And it's going to be a fun postseason, I think. I think, I don't want to say, championship or anything. I don't want to make any Hermdo guarantees about it, but yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Pistons. And there's another team that I don't like right now.
Well, I have a question.
I'm wearing them on my head.
Before you trash them, I do have a question, right? I thought about that this morning. Let's just say, for conversation's sake, they don't win it, and we're not making any guarantees. Are you satisfied if they win the Eastern Conference? Let's just say they win the Eastern Conference this year and they don't win it all. How satisfied are you? Do you think this is a waste of a season? Or are you going to say, hell no, we're ahead of our rebuild. That's awesome. See you next year. Where's your head at right now?
I'm going to say, I'm going to agree, because you brought the point up earlier. You've been saying it. Sorry. But we're a year ahead of the rebuild. An Eastern Conference, finals appearance, that'd be a hell of a thing. If they did win the East, that would be absolutely incredible. Considering where this team was a couple short years ago, considering where this team is now, considering how their future is right in front of them, I mean, I got to, dude, I would love the Eastern Conference Finals. Are you kidding me, dude? I would take that in a heartbeat. Obviously, I'd take the finals over it, but we got to be realistic. We got to be pragmatic. This team is still very young. This team, they got tested in the playoffs against the Knicks last year, but I got to believe that this team is a lot more experienced, a lot more hungry now. They play for each other. They're, like I said, they're a nightmare to play against. I don't think anybody in the East wants to go against the Pistons. Definitely not.
They're going to wear you out. Yeah, they're going to grind on you, and they're going to make your best players upset.
Yes, they're going to twerk on you. Remember, I said at the beginning of the season I had the Pistons going to Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, that's entirely true. That could happen. We're in lockstep. That's a good prediction, I think. Cater Wemby, no complaints if either wins it.
He does this, though. He sits right in the middle on something, goes, no complaints if one wins it. But I'm telling you right now, if one or the other happens, he's going to have an opinion. But it's okay. It's okay.
You imagine yeah. When's the last time? I mean, we've seen some individual awards here and there. We saw, like as far as Detroit athletes go, we saw Moritz winning the Calder a few years ago. Yep. But like as far as like an MVP, when's the last MVP we've had? I know the chant like MVP at Jared Goff, but it's just like Cade winning the MVP. That would be massive. That would be absolutely massive. And I think it would really stick in Skittles' disgusting vampire face, which makes it all the more appealing. But I don't know if you had anything else you want to talk about the Pistons, because I'm ready to move on to that team in Little Caesars, the other team in Little Caesars Arena. Right now, I'm checking the score. Every time I check the score, okay, they're losing at end of the first period. Wings are down 3-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's talk about the Wings a little bit.
So I'm going to go out on a limb right now and tell you right now that I think by the end of this season, you're going to see McClellan and Yzerman gone.
You think so?
I think so.
Man?
I really do.
Oh man, that's spicy. That's spicy, Mark.
I'm going to take a spicy take. But I like it. I'm going to put a little spice on it, extra spice. But you want to talk about a fan base that's psychotic, a fan base that needs to be locked up, a fan base that needs to be evaluated for help. It's an all leather jacket wearing Detroit Red Wings fan base. I look at them and I say, if anybody has a standard that's been set, it's the Detroit Red Wings. If anybody that can say they're part of a title town, it's the Detroit Red Wings. So I say this back to all these diehard Kool-Aid drinking Homer Red Wings fans. If for any other team in the league right now, you'd be calling for everyone's head, right? Brett Holmes sneezes on an old lady on accident, passing by in a Kroger. Everybody wants him out of town, right? We've seen this with other GMs. Why are we so in love with Stevie Yzerman? Because back in the 90s, he made us all feel good. But really what it was Ilitch's checkbook that made us feel good. So
you know who else made us feel good? You know who else made us feel good in the 90s? Joe Dumars. And we felt good in 2004.
Curry. I liked hanging with Mr.
That too.
It was a good show.
That was. But I mean, is Yzerman's legacy? I mean, are we going to compare him to like Joe Dumars? Granted, he doesn't have a ring as a GM, but he did win rings with the Pistons. The Bad Boys days. Obviously, he was a piece of that core with Isaiah Thomas and whatnot. But we saw how his tenure ended with the Pistons just taking the championship team and adding all freaking Ben, what's his name, and Charlie Villanueva and all that shit. But
to be fair, I don't think Yzerman can even live up to the Joe Dumars standards right now. I think if anything, Yzerman is just a shadow of Dumars because he hasn't won anything, dude. Dumars took a basketball team that was awful, absolutely awful forever. I mean, since he stopped playing on the team, it was awful. The best thing they had were Allen Houston, Grant Hill, and Lindsey Hunter. That was that's all you're going to remember. Then he took a payroll that wasn't big from an owner that was on his way out and built what was probably one of the most diabolical teams of the early 2000s of the bad boy Pistons. We literally stopped Kobe, Shaq dead in their tracks with Gary Payton and Karl Malone, right? Like the team that we 5 games swept was basically the 0-2 Red Wings. It was supposed to be a guaranteed championship run. And what Joe Dumars did is he took all of his basketball knowledge and just assembled kind of what we see right now at Trajan Langdon's done. I'm not seeing that with Yzerman. Like Yzerman has just been getting nothing but praises. And then he's been acting like a pretty decent GM. But dude, nobody expected Joe Dumars to do that. They just wanted him to save the team. And he ended up building kind of like his replica Bad Boys team. So I don't even know if it's a fair comparison.
That's true. That's a good point. You know, Dumars did accomplish more than Yzerman did as GM, you know, and I think maybe I'm too focused on like the collapse when the team just, you know, kind of fell apart in the ensuing seasons. I mean, they got the back-to-back finals. I mean, that's still, you know, they won a championship, obviously, but maybe that's not a great comparison. I mean, thanks for shooting me down, Mark. Thanks for shooting me down.
I'm just saying, listen, it was a good comparison because if you look at his collapse, though, because it's parallel stories. It's 2 big names that were successful when they played here, that were captains of the team, that ended up coming back and being GMs. It's a fair comparison. If anything, I'm just trying to poke at all the Steve Yzerman fans, supporters, and really ruffle the feathers, trolling them. Dumars' collapse was because Bill Davison passed away. They were selling the team. They even told him, we don't want to win. We're not really interested in this whole basketball situation. So keep us afloat, keep the ticket sales going. Then you started to see him hand out bad contracts to get, you know, the names in the news, right? Guys like the guys like him, they love those big, like, oh, we signed Villanueva and Tobias Harris did big deals. And
Allen Iverson.
Yeah, and then Tracy McGrady, and we talked about this, right? Sell endless jerseys that now you can get at the Salvation Army for $4, which, you know, I thought about that. We should do a big hunt at the Salvation Armies or all the resales for all of the most obscure jerseys, right?
Yes,
find a Tracy McGrady, Pistons one, find the list goes on, right? But I want to start doing that. I think I'm going to start either wearing them on here or mailing them to Hitch's house and asking him, hey, if you're not going to put a freaking jersey on, at least wear these.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be a fun fan forum activity. Thought we were going to talk about the Lions. We're not. Shut up. But
stop bringing it up.
Stop bringing it up. But yeah, Yzerman has been getting a fair amount of hate, though, which is more than fair. A lot of people have been out on the wings for like 2 or 3 years now. A lot of people just think Yzerman's, you know, he does have a lot of apologists. There's a lot of Steve bots out there, as our good friend Mike Valenti calls them. And I've been a guy that, you know, I was willing to, you know, accept, you know, Yzerman's plan and just still believe. I'm kind of out on the guy, honestly. I'm not completely out the door, but the door is open. I'm at the threshold. I'm about ready to jump out. If they miss the playoffs again this season, then you'll see me calling for his head. Absolutely. I'm hesitant to do it. I still believed in the process a little bit. I saw the success they had in the middle of the season, and I let myself get excited again. And then now we're in the middle of March. Let's check that Red Wings score. Still 3-0. Period 2 just started, but
I mean, how could it get any worse than that?
It can't. But let's take a look. They got some. We got some upcoming games. against the Philadelphia Flyers. They're playing the Philadelphia Flyers twice in the last 8 games after tonight. It's a must win. It's direct tiebreaker implications. Then they got the New York Rangers, who stink this year. Another, could the Wings be another New York Rangers, go from a promising rebuild to just being a bottom feeder? I don't know, but afternoon game at MSG.
My money's on
tough
yes.
out. Yep. Yes. Ugh. And then we got Minnesota Wild, one of the better teams in the West. Back end of a back-to-back, fatigue is a factor. Then we got the Blue Jackets, currently headed to Detroit, a 4-point game. Then we got the Flyers again at home, final meeting of the season series. Then we got the Devils at home, home game of the regular season. Then we got the Tampa Bay Lightning, high noon showdown with the division leader. People are talking about it's going to be the Hurricanes or the Tampa Bay Lightning coming out of the East. Both very dangerous teams. We saw what Carolina did to the Wings a few weeks ago. We saw what the Tampa Bay Lightning, the teams from Florida, even the Florida Panthers, even though they're bottom feeders in our division this year, they still handed us our ass.
Yeah, Florida owns hockey.
We got
so screwed up, man. The NHL needs to fix that. They need to make it to where Florida can't just play hockey for a couple of years because, dude, growing up, the Midwest, you had the San Jose Sharks who were annoying, but whatever happened to do these cold towns where you have traditionalists, right? Where these it's going to make sense that you're a hockey town because it's 32 degrees 6 months out of the year. But Florida, what the hell?
Yeah, it's the Sun Belt teams have been around since the 90s. It's just one of those things,
Golden Knights.
I don't know. It works. Yeah. I worked in Arizona for a little while, but that nothing gold can stay. The last few years of Arizona were absolutely disastrous. They didn't have an arena for years. But
I'm shocked that
so it doesn't work everywhere.
I really am. Yeah. I'm really shocked professional sports have lasted in Arizona versus Seattle, right? I know we're all clamoring for the Supersonics to be back, but anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be fun. But let's just talk a little bit more about the Wings, and I'll check the score again. Then I will be very sad. Then Mark will have to talk me off the edge. But yeah, 2 games left against Philadelphia. Wings effectively control their own destiny against a team that just beat them. They need at least 3 out of 4 points in these matchups. The 3-game homestand, April 5th to 11th, is the last chance to use the LCA crowd energy. Detroit has been better at home in 2014-3 than on the road this year. Goaltending reliability with the defense looking fragile. The Wings need a Vezina caliber performance from their starter to steal at least one of those final Florida road games. So, but anyways, the good news is that the schedule features several direct competitors, Philly and Columbus. The bad news is the finish end of the season on the road in Tampa and Florida is a nightmare scenario with the team needing points. Projected record, I did some predictions here. Thank you, Google. 4-3-1 in the final 8, which I don't know. I guess I could see them beating the Rangers. I think they'll take one from the Blue Jackets, one from the Flyers, and I think they'll be able to beat the Devils, but I don't think they're going to beat the Florida teams. But it's going to be a photo finish. They'll probably have about 95, 96 points. That's the danger zone. If they can't sweep the Flyers, they will miss out by a single point for the 3rd straight year. I think it's saying they will narrowly miss wild card 2 unless they pull off the upset in Florida on the final night. So Wings got their destiny in front of them. They're going to have to play flawless hockey. And if anything, looking at the performance tonight, still 3-0 in the early minutes of the second period. It's funny. I got a PlayStation 5 and I bought NHL 26. I played the Pittsburgh Penguins as the Red Wings. My first game, I was just playing against AI, but I lost 3-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins as the Red Wings, which is very funny. I haven't touched an NHL game in 15 years since Patrick Kane was on the cover, but but I'm very rusty at the game. But apparently the Wings are rusty too. Yes, thank you. But
Detroit just scored, baby. Red Wings just put a goal.
Seriously?
On the board. Hermdo, that's why.
Oh, hell yeah.
Who do you think you are? I am. Score that goal, Hermdo. I got you. I'm no longer hating on.
Score that goal.
It's Red Wings to the Stanley Cup from here on out. No, but they did just score. All kidding aside.
Good. I just saw that. I don't know who it was, but I'm just kind of following along here. We'll see we'll check in on that maybe a little bit later in the cast in the broadcast. But yeah, back to your earlier point, just really quickly, just would Yzerman and McClellan both be out if the Wings miss the playoffs again for the 10th straight season? The dude said that Yzerman's going to be sticking around. I mean, there's an entire possibility that Steve Yzerman will have a fourth coach to work with. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It was
Pete
Dylan
Weber,
Larkin, by the way.
Not sure who that is.
No, that was a sound drop.
Oh, Dylan Larkin.
Gave you. That was Pete Weber.
Okay.
Bowling accolade.
Oh,
yeah. It was.
I did not know that, but yeah, I think. But I think Yzerman probably. I don't think he's really. I still think they're deeply invested in him. Unfortunately, I think it might be time for a fresh look. I said I was going to have some names, but let's see.
I was shocked. I put out some information. Okay, so this is exactly where I was headed to. So McClellan, he says, is gone, right? The dude says McClellan gone, Yzerman will still be there. I think they should both be just completely wiped out, right? But then again, here we are at the very end of the season talking about who's going to replace Todd McClellan, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any good names. You tell me.
Yeah, let's I don't know. I mean, do you want to run it back? Do you want to get like somebody
the ghost of Mike Keenan? Come on.
The ghost of Mike Keenan, oh brother.
Well, Toronto, it's funny. They just fired their coach, so maybe we can get the Maple Leafs reach.
Yeah, they did. They're about to miss the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I mean, people wanted Gerard Gallant, former Red Wing, one of Steve Yzerman's buddies. He's the one that took the Golden Knights to the finals in their first year. There's some, I don't know. There's the Red Wings connection there. But yeah, you got like guys like Bruce Cassidy. He took Boston to the finals. He won the Cup with Vegas in 2023. He took the Boston to the finals in 2019. Wings have plenty of scoring. DeBrincat's pretty much guaranteed 40 goals, but they're -3 in goal differential. Cassidy specializes in turning talented teams into defensive juggernauts. I don't know if he'd even be available or if he'd even want to come here, but just throwing out some names, putting out some speculation. Oh, yeah, Cassidy did get fired. He did get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I got to tell you more six in the hockey news, which is kind of crazy to fire a coach, but yeah, he was let go by the Golden Knights earlier this week, so he is available. If Tom McClellan can't get it done, then Bruce Cassidy, he's one of those guys. He's got a cup in his closet. He's got a cup in his cabinet, which is good. So that's a possibility.
Better
I don't know if Yzerman, pulls the trigger on that. Yeah. Do they let I don't know. I mean, I know what the dude said, and I'm kind of being wishy-washy. I don't want to be a fence sitter here, but do they really let Yzerman hire a third coach after Lalonde and McClellan? I don't know, man. I don't know if
why would you do it other than the fact that you're Steve Yzerman and they love you here. That's it. They love you for what you did here in the 90s, right? Like, I just don't get it. I don't get where everybody is so harsh on other general managers, right? Don't even have to have – you could have still a winning season, and they're like, he's got to go. But Steve Yzerman, I just feel like the guy can go wrong.
That's the way they see it. McClellan gone. Yzerman will still be here. That's the most likely scenario. I think that's what's going to happen. Joel Quenneville, that's one. He was the Peter DeBoer. Peter DeBoer will get you to the finals, but no further. He was the Sharks back in 2016 when they got to the finals and lost to Pittsburgh. Who else did he coach? He coached another Stanley Cup losing team. I don't remember who else it was, but Peter DeBoer, one of those guys. He'll probably get you deep in the playoffs, but I don't know. Yzerman is Harris's ear. We'll see. But another name, we talked about Gerard Gallant. He's the ultimate players coach, so he's a guy that maybe a little bit of the inverse of Todd McClellan. Todd McClellan, we call him Todd McKellen here.
You call him.
He's a guy, he's like in the Mike Keenan archetype because we love Mike Keenan. But yeah, he's one of those guys, very angry, lots of yelling, lots of screaming. But Gerard Gallant, more of a players coach. But he did, lead the Golden Knights to the finals. He's currently coaching in the KHL with the Shanghai Dragons, but is widely expected to return to the NHL this summer. If the front office feels the team is playing tight under pressure, Gallant's simplified, high energy approach often loosens up young stars like Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. So yeah, we could have that, but we also have the modern mind, David Carley of University of Denver. Eisman wants to stop the coaching carousel of recycled NHL names. Carley is the undisputed top prospect in the coaching world. At only 36, he already won 2 NCAA titles. He's the Sean McVay of hockey, brilliant with modern tactics, and exceptionally good at communicating with Gen Z players. Detroit's core is young. Carley has already coached many of the league's rising stars in college and could grow outside the roster for the next decade. I like that. I like that a lot. But the internal promotion, I get nervous hearing about that. But currently the head coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins. Griffins are doing extremely well this season, but even though half their roster is on the Red Wings right now. But
yeah, I was going to say,
has been instrumental in the development of
the G League Unite team's doing really well for the Pistons too. But
yeah. But he was responsible for the development of the Triple Crown of Red Wings prospects: Simon Edvinsson, Sebastian Cossa, and Marco Kasper. I'd say Sebastian Cossa. Michael Postava getting called up besides Sebastian Cossa, kind of an indictment. Marco Kasper has disappeared for parts of this season, but I mean, it's still so goddamn young. But he's won at every level: ECHL, AHL. He knows what the Wings prospects are capable of before they even hit the NHL. If the Yzer plan is about internal growth, Watson is the most plug-and-play option to ensure the message stays consistent to the minors and from the minors to the pros. But we will talk about Joel Quenneville, the wild card scenario here. Coach Q remains the second winningest coach in history while controversial, a team desperate for a return to the glory days may take the PR hit for a 3-time Cup championship. Todd McClellan's seat is warm, but not yet on fire. If he manages to steal the playoff spot in the next 2 weeks, he buys himself all of next season. If they miss, I was going to call Bruce Cassidy in the morning after the season finale. But yeah, Coach Q, he's in the mix. He's going to be returning along with Gerard Gallant. The guy, I like the David Carley. He's my number one. I would go with David Carley first. I think you need a guy to communicate with this team. I think I need a guy because we got so many Zoomers on this team. So many guys in their early to mid 20s.
Young bucks.
Yeah, and that's something we absolutely need some guidance. Yeah, and we see what he's been able to do in college. Gerard Gallant, it's a good choice. He'll probably be my number 3 behind Bruce Cassidy. But Gerard Gallant, is a good players coach. Bruce Cassidy, obviously, he's got the hardware. I don't know how. I mean, he could. The Red Wings definitely need. Bruce Cassidy's more the defensive-minded coach. The Red Wings definitely need. They have a -3 goal differential, as he said. They definitely need a revamp. Yeah, exactly.
It's the defense. We're ignoring the defense. It's getting to a point where
that's the problem.
I don't feel like Stevie made some adjustments, obviously, to go out and get some defensive help in the trade deadline, but the overall defensive leadership just lacks right now, and it's clear to see. It really is.
Yeah, you bring in Justin Falk, and he's been good. People say he's been getting dragged down by Ben Sherratt. Let's take a look at the Red Wings score right now. 1-3 still about halfway through the game. But yeah, I mean, there's been some definite defensive miscues, some issues, some lapses here. But yeah, we definitely need a defensive-minded approach if we want to get anywhere. Coach Q would be interesting. Guy's a hockey legend. Obviously, a lot of controversy led to his exit from Chicago. Florida Panthers picked him up for a little bit, but that didn't last too long. Not that they really needed him. They're back-to-back. 3 just straight trips to the finals and 2 cups. Hell, but yeah, Quenneville might be the guy that could be interesting. If we're going to run it back. I mean, we get a lot of ex Blackhawks. We got DeBrincat, we got Dominic Kubalik on the team. Obviously, we got Patrick Kane. We got a lot of
Chris Chelios
Blackhawks castoffs and Chris Chelios effect. Yeah, another Blackhawks guy, another Chicago guy. I mean, Joel Quenneville is pretty much the ultimate Chicago guy. I mean, besides Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves, of course, but he's the one that guided them to those 3 Stanley Cup wins in the mid 2010s. But
not to get a little too off topic, but we did talk about the Pistons, right? So they're playing the Raptors tonight. Awful team. Great time for us to just go out there and beat the shit out of them. They're winning 11-3. So go out there and make sure you're watching your
Good.
Pistons game tonight. We have a starting rotation of
Absolutely.
Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, Azar Thompson, Jalen Duren, and Janice Jenkins. So with Robinson, Thompson, and Duren and Harris back in the rotation, this is one of those games where they're just going to go out and just put the freaking boot to the throat. So I'm very excited about this.
They're pissed off about losing. Getting so close against the Thunder. I think they're going to play with an edge tonight. I think Toronto's in for a hell of a night. So that's the Pistons for you. That's the Pistons for you, baby. But their season's winding up. We talked about the Red Wings. We can go over some possible GM candidates too, unless you want to move on to something else.
Well, what other topics do we have?
We can talk about Michigan.
We got Michigan basketball in the Final Four too. I don't want to forget about that. If we're going to keep this to about an hour, that's huge, right? I think we talked about it.
Yeah,
they're the most prized to win this thing outside of Arizona, right? It's just that game is going to be whoever wins that game wins the whole thing. I don't see how.
I think so. Absolutely. I got a bit of a breakdown if you allow me to share it with you, but we got, as far as, the game is this Saturday, April 4th at 8:49 p.m. at Lucas Oil Stadium, baby. But we got looking at the identities of these two teams. What's that?
No, just go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't hear you. Okay.
I'm just being silly.
Well, that's okay. We're allowed to be silly here, but we look at the identity of these teams. Michigan Wolverines about interior dominance and defensive length. Arizona Wildcats more like, transition scoring and rim protection. The front court is Ade Mara, who's 7'3", Yaxel Lendenborg and Morris Johnson Jr. And the Wildcats, you got the very dangerous, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Motijas Krivas. I'm not sure. He's 7'2". He's dangerous. The backcourt's Elliot Kajot, who is a catalyst, a facilitator. Arizona Wildcats in their backcourt, you got Jaden Bradley and Braden Burries. The coach, Dusty May, is the second Final Four appearance. And Tommy Lloyd, the Arizona Wildcats coach, is the first Final Four appearance for him. Michigan's front court has been the best unit in the country. But Arizona's Motijas Krivas, I'm totally butchering his name. You have to forgive me. He's one of the few players with the side and defensive efficiency to challenge Ade Mara at the rim. God damn it, I'm stroking out here.
Mara is a beast, man. He is a beast.
Mara is dangerous. Yes,
yes.
3-point shooting. Michigan has been lethal from deep. 4 players shooting over 37%. Arizona will win if they can force Michigan into contested jumpers and away from high percentage interior looks. Michigan holds a slight experience edge with a veteran-heavy front court, while Arizona relies on the dynamic playmaking of freshman Braden Burries. But we look at how they got there. Michigan cruised into the tournament, winning every game by double digits, including a 95-62 demolition at Tennessee. I was at the bar watching that. That was bloody. That happened in the Elite Eight, the 90. It was a bloody, bloody beat down, those poor Tennesseans. But a 90-77 win over Alabama in the Sweet 16. Arizona was a bit more dramatic, overcoming a halftime deficit against Purdue in the Elite Eight, 79-64, after a massive 109-88 shootout win over Arkansas. So, let's very interesting. Zona has better guard play. Michigan's bigs are better. Arizona really doesn't shoot the three, so Michigan is on. Michigan will win. I agree.
I agree too.
I think this is Michigan's game.
Yeah,
I think so.
One of the few times I agree with that, man. But I agree. Like you said, it all comes down to that 3-point shooting. They even had Mara shooting a 3-point right in that Tennessee game. That was the third 3-pointer of the season that he made. So they're that hot, even their 7'2" giant is lacing threes, and that wasn't just like a gimme three. That was like a holy shit dart three. Very impressive what this whole team looks like, and obviously if they win, I think there's an argument that this is the best Michigan team you've ever seen. If they win, right? It's the caveat.
Yeah.
Better than the Glenn Rice '89 team. But
what about the Fab Five?
Well, did the Fab Five win a title?
They did not.
So there you go.
Thanks, Chris Webber.
89, Fab Five. What you're looking at right now is, I guess it's just going to depend where they are in between.
Those Beeline teams with Dre Burke weren't bad either, but
they weren't bad. But they didn't have what this team has. This team has undeniable talent, right? And it wasn't just like that team didn't. That team was just a bunch of pieces put together with the right chemistry and the right ear and the right coaching staff. We saw what Trey Burke did Now he did have Duncan Robinson and Levert and some of those guys, but I really look at what Vandenberg's doing, and he's the best player. Someone had him mocked to come to Detroit in a draft and had him in a Pistons jersey. It looked pretty sweet. And Cadeau, when he's on, he's dangerous. He's just a facilitator. He's a shooter. He's filthy. Watching him in that Bama game say it's over, give it up, it's over to that guy with 5 minutes left. He was just like so adamant, like, dude, you're done. We're winning this game. So I love the confidence. And the best part about it is when the head coach peels off to the side and just watches his team win, it says something, right? College basketball, we're so glued to the head coach. Really, it is the Rick Pitino's and even UConn's coach. That all they keep talking about is his mom and Dan, Coach Dan, I forgot his last name, but their reaction to the win. Now, it was a phenomenal win. That was probably the best ending to a game I've ever seen with college basketball. But it's like this coach wants nothing to do with the limelight. It's all about the players. Kind of reminds me of Harbaugh. Every time they'd win a game, they'd say, "All right, Jim," da, 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 and he goes, talk to this guy," and he'd walk away. Right? He makes it all about the kids, which I think is awesome. Men, they're grown
absolutely,
men.
Absolutely. That's kind of they're grown ass men. They're big, strong men. But I like the confidence. I like the attitude going forward. You got to believe in yourself. I see a lot of level of buy-in in this team. I see a lot of young guys very excited to play. They play, kind of like you say the Pistons. They play for each other, but they're ready. They're hot right now. They really believe in themselves. They have the kind of attitude they're going to need against Arizona. I think they're going to be challenged by Arizona. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think that Michigan prevails in the end. But I'm liking, Dusty May just, I can't say enough good things about the guy. He's really taken over this team and really given it a new identity. And it's really exciting to see the Michigan basketball again. We kind of thinking after the Beeline years were great, but, you're thinking, is there going to be, the way he left town to go to the Cavaliers and everything like that is kind of left a sour taste in people's mouths. But, just kind of hoping that we can get back to the championship kind of days, and it seems like we have. Now, granted, they haven't been to the finals yet, but I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched. But this is the best opportunity they got, in the last at least 10 years. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I think Michigan's got a damn good shot to get into the finals and winning, and I'm very excited for Michigan basketball. Very excited.
Well, one last thing before we wrap this up, I want to say to anybody who saw us trading away Jaden Ivey and saying we got robbed. Have you seen what happened with Jaden Ivey? He got cut from the Bulls after playing 4 games with them for his comments that were detrimental to the team. So they waived him, Hermdo. We traded that man. We got Kevin Herter back, and Jaden Ivey's waived. So there's a bevy of of controversy surrounded by his comments. He made some religious comments regarding the LGBTQ and all that other nonsense of like all the political stuff that just
the culture war shit.
Yeah, the culture war shit, exactly. I'm so sick of it. The culture war shit. I don't give a shit what side. If you're on a side, shame on you for being on a side. That's annoying right there and then.
Yes.
Just be who you are. Don't worry about a side. You be who you are. Don't join a club. The only club you should join is the fan forum. Like and subscribe. But like people, accept people, but don't get all preachy and weird and just chill out, right? He got a little weird. He made a lot of comments. He got into it with Steph Curry and I'm a better Christian than you and this, that. It's just, listen, the Bulls were looking for any reason to get rid of that guy. He played 4 games for them. They realized they traded for a guy who's going to rehab the entire season, and they use that as the out button. But what I mean is if he does become an option next year and he's not hurt anymore, I'll take him back.
Sure, why not? Why not? I can forgive Jaden Ivey. That's not a problem. Who I think we really need to forgive is Killian Hayes, though. I think he's going to come back anytime soon.
He's back to the NBA now. He's not welcome back to the Pistons, though. But I hear he's back in the NBA.
No, hell no.
Dude, he's trash. Killian
could have had Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, that. Who?
Oh, God. But I covered all the bases I'd like to cover, unless there's anything else talk about, Mark. I think we're closing in on an hour here, but I think it's been a very good, very enlightening conversation. I think we've done very well for ourselves for a midweek show. Something we don't usually do, but.
Well, and I think we're going to get back to the midweek show now. I don't know if we've picked a date, if it's going to be what day it's going to be, but we do appreciate everybody that came on as an unannounced show. We will be doing more midweek shows. Obviously, still Sundays at 7:30. That's our staple. That is just that's everything. That lets us in kind of encompass the entire week and recap it and set you off into the next week. But yeah, we've said it all. We've covered all the teams except for the L team. We won't talk about the blue team that plays with a pigskin. We're leaving that for some big episodes when the draft comes alive. We're going to do a draft episode where Hermdo and I are going to go through our picks, who we think the I don't want to say the name that Shelby not said. We'll talk about who we think we want. You can chime in, please, in the comments. Chime in with who you think they're going to draft. If you want to send me useless trade ideas like the dude did, where we're trading Jared Goff to the Arizona Cardinals, you're owning a Madden franchise, go right ahead. But that ain't happening. So let's talk realistic stuff when it comes to that.
I think
let's
be mature and reasonable.
Yeah, let's do that. We gotta promote these guys because I think I'm gonna hop in their comments like I never do. But DDW podcast called DDW Shitcast is tomorrow at 7 p.m. So go check them out.
Watch
That's
those
the
guys.
Doctor and the dude. They support us. We want to support them. They're one guy on there is pretty easy to pick on and pretty easy to poke at. And I may or may not have a record of the most burner accounts to mess with him. But you can check them out on Twitch. You can check them out on TikTok, YouTube, all the platforms. But want to thank them for always hopping in our chat. But
absolutely
love it, Hermdo. Thank you for joining. Thank you for putting on your array of Red Wings and Pistons clothing. I am again just in black, mourning my Detroit sports teams, and then I think on Sunday I'll be wearing my my Homer outfit again. So that's it.
Sounds good to me. Man. All righty. Well, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Detroit Fan Forum. You can hear and see more footage of me and Mark arguing back and forth, arguing with the chat, arguing about Steve Eiserman and that GM from that football team, whoever his name is. But yeah, but that's all I got, Mark.
Yep. And on that note, I will say I'm jealous of you, Kid Rock. I wish Apache helicopters flew by my house and saluted me. But we'll leave it there. And like and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace.